What is up, everyone? This is Chris with Pauper to the People and SeemsGoodMagic.com, running through another Pauper deck with you. Apologize for being a few days late. I was dealing with a pretty nasty sinus infection and I did not sound like a normal human being, so I want to make sure I was feeling well enough to do this up proper. So today we're going to be working on the Green-White Auras deck. The reason I picked this one is this is a fun deck that crops up occasionally on the dailies. It's not really a major contender, but it does have some interesting interactions. It can steal some wins, and if your hand goes properly, it can be pretty powerful. So it's also one of the cheaper decks you can build, so it can be a good place to start for a newer player. So with that in mind, we've got 22 lands in the deck. We have 5 plains, and the rest of them are forest. You don't really need a whole lot of plains in this deck, primarily green based, as we see here as we move into the 1-drops. 3 copies of Rancor. Rancor is one of the more spendy cards in the Pauper format. It's not obscenely priced the way Invigorate was before Mass was released online. It'll set you back a few tickets to get your play set. However, if you're ever playing any sort of green, for instance, if you're playing Infect, if you're playing the Stompy build, just about anything that has green is going to run Rancor. So it is a really good purchase for you to pick up if you're looking to add to some of your staple cards. Avacyn's Pilgrim, basically a mana dork to add that white if you happen to not draw one of your plains. Gladecover Scout, another 1-drop that has hexproof, as well as Slippery Boggle, which you can pay for 1 green, has hexproof as well. 4 copies of Celestia Signet, which is a 2 colorless. For 1 in a tap, you add green-white to your mana pool. I'll be honest, this is a card that ends up usually making the cut first when I go to sideboarding, but it can be helpful in just helping to curve out your mana to play more creatures quicker. 4 copies of Solana Ledgewalker. This is a great card, one of the standout dudes in the deck, because not only is he hexproof, but he can't be blocked except by creatures with flying. This is one of the main guys that you're going to want to be attaching those auras that you've got to. 4 copies of Armadillo Cloak, colorless, green and white. Enchant creature gets +2/+2 and has trample. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. There's a lot going on in this card, and it's primarily one of your main win conditions. You want to attach Armadillo Cloak to one of your hexproof dudes and go to town. 4 copies of Snake Umbra from Rise of Eldrazi. Now, some lists that I've seen, instead of Snake Umbra, they'll run something like the green-white one. I'm going to forget its name. Shield of the Oversoul. I apologize for that. Shield of the Oversoul is a decent replacement for this one. I prefer Snake Umbra because I like the fact that it deals when it deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. Also has totem armor, so if your hexproof guy does get blocked, you can probably kill off the dude that's blocking him, as well as still have your hexproof guy available. 3 copies of Sacred Wolf, just another hexproof dude to attach auras to. And 4 copies of Totem Guide Heartbeast. And when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an aura card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. This guy's great for drawing out the auras that you have in case you're floundering a little bit. So that is the main deck. In the sideboard, we've got 4 copies of Sandstorm. Deals 1 damage to each attacking creature. If you're getting overrun by little dudes, this is a great way to kill them off. 4 copies of Gleeful Sabotage. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Great for the mirror. Great for affinity builds, that type of thing. 2 Circle of Protection Black. This is the way to take mono black control out of the game if you're playing them. 2 copies of Thermokarst. Destroy target land. This comes in handy pretty much if you get one of your slower starts. You can help keep your opponent off of a stable mana base, as well as this is a great way to kill off some posts if you're going up against a post deck. And if you're playing 2-mans or dailies, you're going to come up against a post deck. And 3 copies of Holy Light. Non-white creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Just another way to kill off, particularly infect, goblins, that type of thing. So usually what ends up happening when I do my sideboard is I take out 4 copies of the Signet. I'm usually putting in a couple copies, both my copies of Thermokarst and a couple of copies of Gleeful Sabotage. If I play mono black control, the Circle of Protection black is easily going in. The advantages of this deck, again, it's kind of an outlier as far as the metagame is concerned. So you can surprise people by playing it. It can be very explosive. And because of all your little 1-drop dudes, you can stand a pretty decent chance against a early turn infect trying to come at you. So disadvantages being, of course, auras. It can happen that you put 2 or 3 auras on a dude and then the dude dies, and Rancor can help offset that because Rancor returns to your hand, but you're usually trying to go all in as fast as possible, and it can bite you in the butt. So with that in mind, it's a pretty straightforward deck. Let's go ahead and take it to the 2-mans and see how it performs.